Break.
Copy, 1
Alpha.
Laboratory in orbit, the International Space Station. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1, propulsion is nominal.
And that's the call we want to hear. Good performance on that first stage so far.
T plus 30 seconds, Falcon 9, powered by 9 Merlin 1Gs. Pushing Dragon into low Earth orbit on the way to the International Space Station.
Power and telemetry nominal. Stage 1, throttle down.
And we're into the throttle bucket in preparation for max Q. Getting ready to throttle the engines back up.
Stage 1, throttle up. Execute.
Stage 1 Bravo.
Copy, 1
All right,
Bravo.
that 1 Bravo call is for the second stage abort mode on the first stage. That is going to take them through the first stage, burning just before the second stage activates off the coast of North Carolina. That next milestone coming up shortly will be MVAC chill underway.
MVAC chill underway.
There's a call out. We're getting the second stage engine turbopumps ready for their ignition coming up in just a little more than 40 seconds. We've got the major events coming up here shortly. We're going to get main engine cutoff at 2 minutes 36 seconds. The stages will separate, and then the second stage will ignite, carrying Dragon on its way into low Earth orbit. Everything continues to look good.
Stage 1, throttle down.
Stage 1 throttling down at 3.5 Gs. Getting ready for MECO.
MECO. Stage separation.
Stage 2 Alpha.
Copy, 2 Alpha.
All right, we have ignition of the second stage. And you saw that green flash
Good,
of that
ignition.
TTEB fluid. And Crew 3 is now on their way to the International Space Station.
On the left side, first stage, you can see the titanium grid fins coming out, the streaks of the exhaust of the second stage engine going by, and the lights of Florida down in the background.
Acquisition signal.
That's right, and on your right, that second stage glowing. With that red color we like to see, indicating everything is proceeding well. Now 3 minutes and 40 seconds into flight. Everything's still on track.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory
And that
nominal.
That call out of acquisition of
Confirmed,
signal
copy.
Bermuda, that just means the Bermuda ground station has the signals from the second stage of Dragon and Falcon 9.
Now, currently on the first stage, we are coasting to apogee, beginning a slow 180-degree pitch, so that when the vehicle comes back through the atmosphere, the engines are pointed down towards the drone ship when we do the relight. Relight for the entry burn will come at T plus 7 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes from now. Currently, the first stage about 166 kilometers up, continuing to coast to apogee for another brief period.
Meanwhile, that second stage still propelling the Crew 3 astronauts up the eastern seaboard, and it will continue to fire. That's about a 6-minute burn to deliver the astronauts into orbit.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Endurance copies.
And a good call out from the ground teams.
I always love to hear trajectory nominal. And the crew gets to hear it too on the call-up.
Acquisition of signal, New Hampshire.
And the New Hampshire tracking station has acquired the telemetry signal. Five minutes and 30 seconds into flight today, everything is still proceeding nominal.
And Courtney, right now on the second stage, it's such a large amount of propellant. It takes a while for second stage to really accelerate. The crew right now looks like they're pulling about.
Trajectory nominal.
Looks like we're pulling about 1.5 Gs.
Yeah, right on cue, those check-ins on the second stage performance. Everything is still looking good on that second stage. The next milestone on the second stage will be SECO. And we're getting our views now from inside of Endurance, our first views of the crew on their way to the International Space Station.
We're 1 minute away from entry burn of the first stage. Hopefully we'll get a camera view back on the first stage as we light the 3 engines to come back into the Earth's atmosphere.
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Endurance copies.
Another good check-in with the crew, confirming everything is still looking good so far on both ends. That next milestone coming at 7 minutes and 30 seconds will be entry burn start.
Currently waiting for the call out from the SpaceX propulsion responsible engineer that the 3 Merlin 1D engines have lit to begin slowing down the first stage prior to entering the Earth's atmosphere.
Stage 2 FTS is safe. Stage 1 entry burn is in startup.
We've heard stage 1 entry burn is startup. We've lit the center engine. We've got the 2 side engines, 3 engines running. This is a 27-second burn. This will slow the first stage down. We'll then enter the atmosphere where the grid fins begin to work, and then we will fire the single center engine as we approach the drone ship.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Confirmation entry burn shutdown.
And meanwhile, that second stage is less than a minute away from cutoff.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
Shannon.
Copy, Shannon.
There's that call for Shannon.
Stage 1 is transonic.
Stage 1 decelerating as we prepare for entry burn. But our attention is right now looking at stage 2 as we get ready for shutdown.
Stage 1 landing burn. Dragon SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
And the second stage has done its job. Our Crew 3 astronauts have been delivered into orbit.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing leg deploy.
Endurance copies. We feel SECO and SILE confirms we are in space.
Dragon SpaceX, launch escape system is disarmed.
Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
And we've heard the call out. Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
Loss of signal Cape and acquisition of signal Newfoundland.
Some great call outs. That next milestone is spacecraft separation around 12 minutes into flight. Getting a view now of the Crew 3 astronauts from a camera aboard Dragon. The crew now coasting in low Earth orbit, still attached to that second stage. Again, that next milestone coming in about 2 minutes. That second stage will separate, and Crew Dragon will be flying free.
And Courtney, right now, the Falcon 9 second stage is still attached to the Dragon capsule. When it's time, Dragon will command separation from the Falcon 9 second stage. Right now, that second stage, under control of its flight computer, is essentially going through a sequence to idle the second stage, make sure we're not pulsing any of the cold gas thrusters, the engine has been purged out. Essentially anything that might cause motion of the second stage, we're making sure that all of that is eliminated so that when Dragon separates, it's got a very stable platform to move away from. I believe the cheering in the background, they're getting video back of Falcon 9 first stage on drone ship as we get ready for Dragon separation.
That's right, John. Separation coming just 10 seconds from now. Standing by for that call.
Expected loss of signal, wallops.
And again, we are standing by. There we go.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Endurance copy, see you soon.
Dragon, CE, welcome to orbit. Hope you enjoyed the ride from F9. Dragon will take you from here. Safe travels. Stand by for words from LD.
And Endurance, LD here. On behalf of the SpaceX Launch and Recovery teams, it was a pleasure to be part of this mission with you. Enjoy your holidays amongst the stars. We'll be waving as you fly by. Cheers.
Wow. Incredible views of the crew now in orbit on their way
Thanks,
to the
guys.
International
Endurance,
Space
it was a great
Station.
ride, better than we imagined.
And some final words from the crew as well. There they are, our Crew 3 astronauts. Now in orbit. That next milestone will be the deployment of the nose cone. That'll be about a 5-minute process. It'll expose those forward bulkhead Dracos and will prepare them for checkouts as well.
Yeah, Courtney, watching them in zero-G right now, working their displays, it looks so easy, but we had the benefit of watching the launch team, the spacecraft team, the NASA team, everybody working here for the last weeks, working through this, and it's good to see it come out looking just so easy right now.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, and we're so excited to see them in orbit.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
Endurance copy, VCSA will be opening visor slowly.
Well, it was a beautiful launch from here at Hawthorne headquarters, at SpaceX headquarters here in Hawthorne. I can't imagine how the launch looked from over at Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, pretty incredible launch. We also got to see their zero-G indicator on the screen. It looked like a little turtle, so I'd love to hear the story behind that. But an amazing launch, an amazing day so far.
Yeah, that's right. And with that, we'll go ahead and send it back to Kennedy Space Center. Daryl, how was the launch from your end?
Well, it was simply stunning. Thanks. We're back here at the Kennedy Space Center with Shannon Walker, Crew 1 astronaut, mission specialist from that mission. Wow.
Wow is right. I mean, it was amazing. It's always so impressive to see a launch live, and what always strikes me is you get to see it and then you hear the sound after it's gone for a few seconds. It's truly amazing.
The delay in the sound coming to us, but we're seeing the sights. And when it lifted off, there was that low cloud deck.
Yes.
So it like lit up the clouds, it lit up the ground.
It was one of the most impressive launches I have seen.
And that rumble was probably one of the loudest I've heard. I don't know how to explain that.
I don't either. I mean, it seemed louder to me than most launches, and it was really rattling this whole setup where we are here.
Just a boom, and then we saw the zero-G indicator.
Yep.
A turtle.
A turtle, of course, because there's turtles on board.
2 turtles on board, and of course they had to convince the other 2 astronauts to let them do turtle, right?
Right.
And apparently they did.
I don't know who won that arm wrestle, but I guess it was the turtles.
It was the turtles. All right, we're joined now by Frank Davina, ESA's program manager for the International Space Station. Thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, indeed, beautiful launch. We have our second astronaut flying on Crew Dragon after Thomas that just returned last night. That was in Cologne. Welcoming him in Cologne after his space mission, and now I'm here to see off Matthias. It's great times for the European Space Agency.
What a turnaround that must have been to be in Cologne, there with Thomas, coming back, and literally just days later seeing off one of your ESA astronauts, Matthias Maurer.
Yeah, it's a great time for us because we have 2 astronauts back to back, and we will also have Samantha Cristoforetti that will fly in April next year. So for the first time, we will have for 1.5 years permanently ESA astronauts on board of the space station. So it also shows that ESA is really stepping up to the game. We are more and more engaged in the ISS, but also in the lunar program with our NASA colleagues in the Gateway. We will have 3 astronauts flying to the Gateway before the end of this decade. We are doing a new astronaut selection, so exploration is really also taking off in Europe.
And how did you enjoy the launch? Were you watching from the 5th floor of the Operations Support Building?
No, I was actually in the LCC.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So I was able to go outside and go on the staircase on the outside on the fifth floor there or something like that. It's really amazing. Like you said, you see the light and then the sound, and you really on the stairs there you feel everything rumbling. So it's a really amazing launch.
Now you two are familiar with each other, Shannon Walker and Frank Davina.
Yeah.
Yep.
Explain that.
Well, we have a common job, and so American astronauts work with these astronauts, and so we actually go way back.
Yeah, we go way back because we were together in training actually. When I was doing my mission in 2009, Shannon was also in training on Soyuz. So
that's right.
Indeed, we go way back, and we have worked a lot together.
So tell me, did you get a chance to talk with Matthias before, in the days leading up to launch?
Yes, I talked a couple of times with him, not as much as I would have wanted because again the launch was a little bit delayed and I had to be back in Europe welcoming Thomas, but I think he's very motivated. Of course, it's his first flight. It's always like this. Of course, also a little bit curious what's going to happen because it's different. A second flight and a first flight is totally different. At least for me it was, because you go into the unknown, and it's always a little bit scary to go into the unknown. You know that the people expect a lot of you. Matthias has a whole science program, not only an ESA science program, but also for the benefit of NASA, JAXA, and of course every astronaut wants to perform to the best of his abilities, and of course that also brings these thoughts with him. But I told him that he was excellent in training, and I'm sure that he will do a great mission as well.
ESA program manager for the International